launch project is a concrete testimony of the important government attaches to inclusive education.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is worth noting that the essence of human life is about searching for excellence and perfection in all our endeavors. And it is in recognition of this fact that the government of the Gambia, under the leadership of His Excellency Sheikh Professor Alhaji Dr. Yahya AJJ Jammeh, carved out the Vision 2020 aimed at inspiring and guiding the nation towards this end.
The Gambia considers the education of its people as one of the ways through which the nation can achieve its vision. The Gambia government and Islamic Development Bank supported bilingual madrasa project is therefore here to aid the realization of that dream. Louis Mendy, GRTS.
The Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs, Abdul Koli, has urged for the proper and timely implementation of the next phase of the Gambia Growth and Competitiveness Project. The minister was speaking at a forum reviewing the World Bank-funded project, which enters the final 2.5 year. Ababakar Senghor has details of that story. We apologize for the poor quality tape. The Central Bank of the Gambia says it has observed that the transactions market for foreign exchange remains broadly consistent with economic fundamentals. Amid a release from the Central Bank of the Gambia, however, says speculative activity by market operators in the domestic foreign exchange market continues to exert pressure on exchange rates, resulting in continuing depreciation of the Gambian dollar. Recently, the Monetary Policy Committee hiked the rediscount rate by 2 percentage points, increased the required reserve ratio, and reduced limits on net open of banks. The measures, the release adds, were intended to encourage investment in dollar assets and dampen demand for foreign exchange in the market. The bank further indicated that it would closely monitor developments and take additional measures if deemed necessary in order to reinforce the monetary policy stance and restore stability and confidence in the foreign exchange market. The bank has decided to increase the required reserve ratio further by 3 percentage points to 15%. This measure will take effect from 24th 2013, the release ends. Meantime, the Central Bank of the Gambia has announced the suspension of RIA, Money Express, and Wari money transfer services from the domestic foreign exchange market until further notice, with effect from Friday, June 21st, 2013. Consequently, all authorized dealers and the general public are advised that with effect from Friday, 21st June 2013, any foreign exchange transactions, including sale and purchasing through these MOTs, as well as transfer of funds through them and or their behalf, is illegal. The Central Bank of the Gambia solicits the compliance of all the release ends. Social Security and Housing Finance Corporation has for the past years extended support to various projects through its chains of funds. Proceeds from the corporation's last year's farming activities have been distributed amongst the beneficiaries, and as we hear in this report by Mamoudou S. Jallo, the intervention forms part of Social Security and Housing Finance Corporation operations promote investment in education and health.
Security and Housing Finance Corporation has for the past years been actively engaged in the promotion of agriculture, education and health initiatives. The West Coast settlement of Fonyindemban is the latest community to receive farm produce, namely rice and coos, from the OPIA project championed by the Social Security and Housing Finance Corporation. This annual show of generosity had by the Social Security since 2011 had benefited many other localities in the North Bank, Central River, and West Coast regions. Ibrahim Damfa, who heads the operation Promote Investment in Agriculture, Education, and Health, said the move formed part of their corporate social responsibility of reducing vulnerabilities and improving lives. Elders of Ndemban joined their alcalo in thanking officials of the Social Security and Housing Finance Corporation for their intervention in the village and assured them that the produce donated will be put to good use. Amidst a rousing welcome, Social Security officials also arrived in the village of Jalokoto for another presentation of the OPIA project's farm produce, specifically 19 bags of rice and coos, as it was a case for Ndemban. Momodes Jalo, Grts.
We'll take our first break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. The government in Brazil is sending elite police officers and firefighters to beef up security in 5 states, and it is because of scenes witnessed at a Sao Paulo hall last night where a small pocket of protesters set fire to a TV broadcaster's van. Demonstrators say they are angry about high taxes, corruption, and how much the country is spending to host the upcoming World Cup. But elsewhere in the city on Tuesday, the atmosphere was more peaceful. Even festive demonstrators called for some time out today. But more protests are planned for Thursday. We have more in this report.
All of Brazil really complaining about the use of police violence against these protesters, and then we get scenes like last night, the police almost purposely taking a back seat to show the world, okay, you don't want us in there, this is what happens. But it really did start peacefully, and as you yourself said, the vast majority of the marchers here in Sao Paulo were marching down the main avenue in a very festive atmosphere. Watch this.
Brazilians back on the streets Tuesday night. Thousands of protesters packed into the main square in downtown Sao Paulo, the 6th demonstration in less than 2 weeks.
This is just getting started. People are arriving. This is just like other nights. The very beginning, everyone's chanting, singing, and really getting excited.
What started as a student protest over higher bus fares has snowballed, with Brazilians saying they're fed up with the high cost of living and high taxes, while the government spends billions on lavish sporting events.
We are here for the corruption, for the money that they spend on the World Cup, constructing the stadiums, the money that they could have spent on education, on hospitals.
Tuesday's protest comes a day after some 200,000 people took to the streets across the country. While Sao Paulo's massive demo Monday night was largely peaceful, in Rio de Janeiro, protesters threw Molotov cocktails, and in Brasilia, they stormed onto the roof of Congress. Tuesday, Sao Paulo, yet again the center of attention.
We're an hour into the demonstration, and people are starting to move. We never know where they're going to go. We just have to follow along and see where this march takes us.
A large group of marchers head to the mayor's office and try to storm it. They end up setting fire to a car. There was also looting. For the first time since the protests started, President Dilma Rousseff spoke on national television.
The magnitude of the demonstrations yesterday proved the energy of our democracy.
She also said their demands were being heard. But back on the streets, demonstrators say they want proof, starting with lower bus fares.
Now,
There are worrying concerns the Syrian conflict could spill over to its neighbors. The U.S. and other forces are holding military exercises in Jordan. CNN's Ben Wideman has more on the maneuver.